Hello everyone. It's been a long time since I've posted anything, and I'm here at my tree farm getting a walk in and thought I would give you an update on She Walks the Walk. What's happening with that? So hopefully I'm just going to check around to make sure nobody is looking or watching. Yeah, I think I'm alone. Just me and the wind. It's an Alberta clipper out here. Note that I do not live in the province of Alberta, but we have a clipper. That's a thing, and it's very windy and cold. Anyways, the reason I wanted to fill you in is because I'm very excited about some stuff, and there's no point in being excited if you can't share it with people. So some of you have been on my journey since I did the Camino, and some of you are, well, I'm not sure why you subscribe to this channel, but I thank you. So here's an update. She Walks the Walk. I launched my website, did that on September 29th. I was really happy to finally just put it out into orbit. Yes, it's COVID. Yes, my offer is these wonderful global walking adventures, which are part mini retreat, part mini pilgrimage, to help women walk with intention and purpose and rediscover themselves in another culture while becoming engaged in the community that they're walking in. So that's not really launched yet, which is obvious because no one is traveling. But I have continued to try and create and dream about ways that I can be purposeful and give value and figure this thing out, figure out this She Walks the Walk. So it's now November the 1st, and holy cow, my hands are freezing. It's November the 1st, and I'm about to launch something. So it's a real offer, it's a real thing. It's a 21-day challenge called ReTHRIVAL. And if you have any women in your life, if you are a woman, I would love for you to check it out. I'm going to be announcing the details over the course of the next week. The registration opens on November 9th, and the challenge starts on the 16th. So what is it and why? It's a 21-day walking challenge to get women walking wherever they are for however long they can. And the idea is that, it has been a tough year. A lot of us have felt disempowered, discouraged, stuck. We've had some stuff taken away from us. Some people have lost jobs. They've lost motivation. They've lost interest in the life that they had built, which now looks very different. And I want everyone to know that we're not as stuck as we feel. The literal act of walking is going to move you forward. So get out and walk every day for 21 days, rain, snow, shine, Alberta clipper, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you walk to your mailbox just to get the mail, but you need to do it every day. And the other reason that we're walking and why I really felt called to do this was because we are very privileged. I talk about the stuff that we've had taken away from us, like, we can't travel and we're not as free as we used to be, but we are actually so blessed and so privileged in our Western worlds. And there are 32 million women and girls who are not free. They are enslaved. They are taken and put into a world of exploitation, of trafficking. They're forced into a brothel life. They're denied education. They're robbed of their innocence in their childhood, and that is just not right. So I'm partnering with an organization called Her Future Coalition. You can Google it. It's literally herfuturecoalition.org. And what they do is work with survivors of these atrocities. And I'm super inspired by their message. I'm inspired by how the nonprofit got off the ground one woman, her name is Sarah, and she, I hope I get this right, but she was at a festival where some of her own work, she does music, was put on display, and she saw a documentary about trafficking. And this was in the early to mid 2000s, and she just thought, no, I have to do something. I have to do something about this myself. So she started her Future Coalition, and they do some incredible work with girls and women who they help pull out of this trafficking world. And so we're partnering together, and the idea is that we are, as women, going to walk, on our own or with a friend, but in solidarity, because we are part of a global community. We need to raise our consciousness about humanity. We need to acknowledge the wonderful privilege that we have in our lives and be mindful of the freedoms that other women do not have. So that's the crux of the challenge. And there's some wonderful stuff built in to bring you kind of on an online self-discovery journey. It's going to include some things like yoga and meditations over the course of the 21 days. I really want people to start thinking about 2021 and be mindful of the power that they do have to try and recreate a new vision for themselves, despite the uncertainty. So you're going to get a customized vision board toolkit and a beautiful bracelet that we've partnered with Elias and Ella. They're a Canadian jewelry designer. I'm really proud of this bracelet. It's gorgeous. It's got the helicopter seed charm, which is an important symbol in her She Walks the Walk. Oh my gosh, I'm totally butchering this, but whatever. So that will be included, and 50% of all of the entry fees I'm going to send off to her Future Coalition. So you get to feel good, do good, and become more aware of what else is happening in the world, which I think is critical. So that's exciting for me. I want to tell you how I came to this idea, but I think I'm going to walk to another location because the wind is really cold here. Okay, stand by. Okay, I'm back. I'm at the same spot I was like 3 or 4 months ago when I started talking about what my idea was. So hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully it's not too windy. I want to tell you a story about how I came to this idea, because I think that it's kind of inspiring when we put ourselves out there, and things can sometimes work out. So this is my story. Damn, it's cold. I have been obsessed with walking. Like, no kidding. It's kind of my thing. And one day, probably a year ago, had I left my business? No, I was still in my business, my old career. I think I Googled, is it possible to walk the earth? And I did that at the kitchen table. And I remember my husband looking over my shoulder, and he was like, oh dear God, what ideas are you getting in your head now? Because Sam is full of these weird and wonderful little adventures she likes to take, and someone is left holding the bag, and it's usually him and my girls. And he's like, why are you Googling, is it possible to walk the earth? Like, you are not going to walk the earth. Like, what is that? And I was just curious. Is there anyone out there that's actually being like a little Forrest Gump and, is walking around the world and really discovering the places along the way and meeting the people, and or have people done this? And to my I guess I wasn't surprised. There are a number of people who have done it, including like a couple of women. And so I found this story about this woman named Angela Maxwell, who interestingly has a website called She Walks the Earth. So I just was like obsessed with, why is she doing this? She's been walking for the last 5.5 years, maybe even 6. I don't want to dishonor her story, so forgive me, Angela, if you happen to ever see this. She started when she was 33. Actually, you should go to her website because her story is just beautiful. It's www.shewalkstheearth.com. So I stumbled into this rabbit hole learning about this woman named Angela Maxwell, who has been walking the earth. And I was just ridiculously inspired because, like, what a thing to contemplate doing. And I was mostly inspired about just her notion of she was walking as a free woman for women and girls who aren't free. And I was just so blown away by the altruism of that and the idea. And so what ended up happening was, sorry, it is so flippin' cold. So what ended up happening was I started following her on Instagram, and she had resumed the last leg of her walk in the United States, but then COVID happened, and so she went and did some things and kind of took a break, but has been finishing her walk. And she's currently in Wyoming, heading to Oregon. And so I was following her, and she wasn't really posting a whole lot, but one day she did post something, and it was like an update from her tent. And I was just, once again, floored that someone would do this. So I sent her a direct message and totally did not expect her to reply. And she did. And yada, 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 that led to an email, which led to a 2-hour phone call, which is how I learned about Her Future Coalition. And so all of these things are very serendipitously connected. And part of this 21 Days to ReTHRIVAL challenge that I'm creating is to help Angela reach her goal of raising $20,000 for Her Future Coalition. She's getting close, and I want to help push her over the edge with like whatever we can do, because she's one woman and she's making a difference and she's made it matter, and that speaks to me a lot. So thank you for listening to this ramble. I'm going to post some stuff for you to look at, but ideally what you would do is go to shewalksthewalk.com, subscribe, and I will be releasing information to all of the wonderful She Walks the Walk ambassadors, people who have subscribed to the movement, and I'll also be putting information up on my website probably later on this week, and I will be sharing on Instagram. So if you happen to have that social network at your disposal and you want to go find me, that would be great. My motivation for this is do something. November is not the most fun month for a lot of people. It has been a hard year. We are not as disempowered as we think, and we need to have an understanding of what else is happening in the world. And here's a way that you can do that and make a difference and get some really cool swag. So it would be a great gift idea. That's it for my shameless pitch. Thank you for watching, and I do look forward to posting some more Walk Wednesday hikes once I get through this launch bit. buen camino to everybody, and that's it. I'm signing off with my cold hands.